Help me ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. So I'm coming to you today with a bit of a fun video, really. You have seen on my channel both of these decks. I have done walkthroughs of both of them, but this comes as a request. So it was from my lovely friend Kelly Bear, who said that she was interested in, now that her depth year is coming to an end, getting a modern RWS deck, and she was contemplating between either the This Might Hurt tarot deck or the Modern Witch tarot deck. And while she'd seen kind of cards from both or walkthroughs from both, she hadn't seen them side by side to be able to make that decision. And then I thought, well, there's probably a few people actually in that position too. What I will say is I am not here to say which deck anybody should buy, or indeed which deck I prefer, because actually I love both decks. They both have their unique qualities as well as some similarities. But far be it from me to say, you should get this deck or you should get that deck. The idea behind this is you get to see both decks side by side, and similar to Kelly's situation, then able to have a think about which you would like to buy. So firstly, if we just talk about the packaging. So This Might Hurt comes in this black box, lovely gold embossing on it. It has this beautiful the Ouroboros with each of the suits represented, or the elements, so pentacles, cups, swords and wands. It is beautiful, and around the edges you've also got each of the suits there, and it's in this magnetic box. You do get a little book, and this one in particular has, I'm not sure if this was numbered, actually it is. There's about 180, I want to say, 180 pages. So it's quite a nice little book, quite a page or so for each card. With this box, now I got the beautiful limited edition, I forget what the title is, but it comes with all these extras. So the bag, some art cards, the pasting cloth, the patch and the pin badge. But you can buy this without it being the limited edition, and this was sent to me. I didn't buy this deck, it was sent to me for the purpose of review by the people at Liminal 11, but you can just get it in this box as well if you don't get the limited edition. This one I bought it from Little Red Tarot, rather than pay the custom fees and have it exported, so that wasn't sent to me. This box pulls out like this, and it is lovely. It's got this black and white design on the inside. It is very sturdy, very colourful, and this book has a little hardback book, but it reminds me of the old Ladybird books that we got as a kid. This seems to be very, very similar. It's not as thick. In fact, this has 56 pages, and there's a paragraph, few sentences for each card, except for the majors, which has a page each. Although in the This Might Hurt, you get the image on one side and the text on the other. So, but this is an RWS, or both RWS systems, so you might not even be that concerned about the little books that come with it. In terms of cardstock, first we'll talk about the thickness. So the Modern Witch is a lot thicker. I mean, this is a thick deck anyway, but you'll see here there is a difference in thickness. And the gilding on the This Might Hurt tarot, it has this black holographic. You can get gold gilding as well. I've yet to see anybody that has bought the gold gilded one. Everybody who I know who's got this deck has opted for this holographic black gilding. And on the Modern Witch, it is a metallic gold gilded edge. Cardstock differs. So with the Modern Witch, it is glossy. It has a glossy cardstock, whereas the This Might Hurt tarot has a matte cardstock, and it reminds me of this buttery feel and the noise it makes, very much like the New Choice Tarot de Marseille. It kind of gives me that vibe, whereas this one, although they're glossy, they do not stick together. You know, I've had some incidences in the past week where I've had cards that have been gilded sticking together, namely the Dark Days. Okay, so let's just go through the cards then, side by side. I'm not going to say a lot. That's not the purpose of this video, really. It's just for you to have a closer look. Let's zoom in a little bit to make sure there's no glare from the light on the cards as well. Yeah, so the idea is just for you to have a look and see, out of these new releases that have come out around the same time, new kind of modern versions of the RWS. If you are, you know, on a budget or not wanting to get a lot of decks and you need to make a choice, then maybe this will help. So we start with our full card, both very traditional. This seems a little bit more traditional in terms of the style of dress, with the kind of same design as the tunic that we see in the RWS. We have a female fool. There are females in this deck. There aren't males in this deck. So that's going to be one of the differences as well. Whereas it's more of a modern style of clothing here. This one's, you know, carrying looks like an iPhone, listening to music. So they're both modern versions of the full card. The Magician. Both are bordered. The This Might Hurt has this little cutaway with the number in, whereas the number is within the image in the Modern Witch. Our High Priestess. Both using lovely purples and pinks, which is one of my favourite colour combinations. The Empress. Oh, I never showed the backs, did I? Here's our backs. Oh, I did say when I did the walkthrough of the Modern Witch, I liked the coloration of the teal and the white. It kind of reminded me of the RWS Roses and Lilies coloration. This one has black and white, and it has the image from the World card. Oh, size comparisons. Oh, I'm not very good at this, am I? They're more or less the same. More or less. Well, they actually, with the tiniest slither. I don't even know if that would even show, but 2 millimeters maybe bigger for the Modern Witch. Same width. So our Empress, both wonderful. The female symbol is on this heart here, where it's in a heart that's scratched into the log there. The Emperor. Remember, this is a female-only deck. The Hierophant. Cross keys is part of his embroidery on his gown, whereas the more traditional here. 2 pillows. I love the pillars in this deck. I think they're wonderful. And there's more of a traditional staff there that the Hierophant is holding. This is like a wand with a crystal at the end. Our Lovers. amazing. And it's interesting that we have motorbikes in both the Chariot cards. So here she is straddling two motorbikes here, wand in hand, whereas here on a motorbike, but you get these kind of sphinxes in black and white, and the cityscape behind. Love both strength cards. That has more of a nod to kind of Pix's art with the way the clouds are depicted. Both have the lemniscate above their heads. Both using a women of colour. The link of flowers around the lion's neck and mane. Here's our Hierophant, both female Hierophants. Hermits, sorry. Both female hermits. This one very modern, just within a kind of religious looking building or an old Gothic kind of building. And then there's this very modern, looks like a MacBook or laptop. No lantern, the light is coming from the illumination of the laptop. We have a more traditional image here. Our wheel. She has a very strange expression on her face in that card. But I like the seasons and the elements all being represented here. And we have the symbols here. More of a traditional wheel. By design. Our Justice card. So we have the Hanged Man with This Might Hurt and the Hanged One. Because again, with it being a female deck, it wouldn't be the Hanged Man. Here's our Death card. Both very traditional looking. I love the setting sun between the two towers as well. I love them both, I really do. It's a hard choice. Really hard choice. I just love them both. Temperance. The Devil. So here we have like a Baphomet type devil smoking a cigarette, still with the hand positions, you know, the as above so below. This one's holding a fiery wand, this one is pointing down. They're all pleading. Lots of people, you know, enjoying alcohol, making out, trapped in that sort of I don't know. They've got chains and they're all chained to each other with these handcuffs and things. It's very sort of hedonistic. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Whereas this is more traditional with the RWS, although the naked couple are facing the devil here rather than facing towards us as the querent. And I love the Baphomet type of, you know, male and female energy, the pregnant belly, the breasts. It's wonderful. Here's our Tower card. Our Star card. I like the fact that they're, you know, both unashamedly naked, even with private areas showing. I don't have a problem at all with nakedness or nudity index at all. The stork appears in both cards. Both wonderful. Both quite voluptuous in body shapes as well, which is interesting. Now this card appeared in the Hermit's Cave. Both of these cards appeared in the Hermit's Cave. Somebody at the Facebook group, the Hermit's Cave, and somebody was saying it can't be a coincidence that these cards are so similar, in as much as it's two females wearing masks of hounds of some sort. I don't know if it is just a coincidence. You know, it's quite pagan. This one does have a female figure coming out of the water, whereas we have our crustacean, our crayfish here. We have the path. Here, both are facing the moon. This one is, one isn't. I mean, they're both stunning. Our sun, naked baby, not naked baby. One on a dog, one on a horse. This one again being more traditional to the RWS, however it is clothed. And the red flag, whereas that's more arms outstretched. And there's a little dog there holding a stick, which I love. Judgment is very different here. We have the more traditional RWS image here with the modern witch. Again, even everybody coming out of the graves, there's no males at all, unless that's a male. Looks more like a child to me, but I do like the body diversity. And then we have the world. Love this world card. Both great. Okay, so now I should have made sure that my suits were in the right order. So we're starting with cups. So let's get to cups. And I know that I'll have put wands next because I do that sort of thing. So hopefully that should be in the right order now. So I'll go through the minors. In fact, at this point, let's just look at the images. So I'll put some music and we'll just have a look at the images here for the minors. Let's make sure these are in the center and we've got the zoom in as much as we can. Okay. Okay. And as you probably recall, with the everyday, not the everyday, sorry, the modern Witch Tarot, there is the extra Ten of Swords card, which is the Everything is Fine card. So it's exactly the same image, but the only thing that's changed is the title of the card. So you can have the option of swapping out the Ten of Swords for Everything is Fine. Personally, I don't see the need, because the Ten of Swords is the Ten of Swords, and if you're reading in a spread, then you should be able to pick up what the Ten of Swords, what the message of the Ten of Swords is for you at that time that you're asking your question or you're consulting the tarot. Just changing it to Everything is Fine, for me, it's not really needed, but I left it in there to remind people if indeed you're seeing this deck for the first time. So that's a walkthrough of both versions. Kelly, I hope it was enough for you to be able to make a decision. If not, then obviously just speak to me, glide me, and I can answer any further questions that you might have. For everybody else, I hope you find it useful seeing these two side by side so you can compare. And the only reason why they're being compared is because they're two new decks that have come out in the latter part of this year that purport to be a modern take on the original RWS deck. And again, as I said, it was a request from Kelly, who's wanting to buy one of them. All right, guys. Well, I'll be back at 8 p.m. for Throwback Thursday. So hopefully, if you can make it, I'll see you there. I'm not expecting a lot of people there because, for those of you who don't know, it's Thanksgiving in some parts of the world. So to everybody else who's watching this as well, I hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving. And until next time, guys, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.